It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Today, 2 outstanding elementary schools here to play our game. Let's see if you can keep up with them, and let's meet them now. First, joining us from Brandywine Elementary School, please say hello to Brian Wilson, Brandon Hutchinson, and Malik Addo. And from Cooper Lane Elementary, our contestants are Blessing Ajayi, Diana Dang, and Brandon Weeks. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions worth 5 and 10 points, and the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance to this year's elementary school quarterfinals. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to the red team. Brandon, try your buzzer for me. All right. Looks good, sounds good. Good luck to you, to Brian, and to Malik. And Diana, try your buzzer. All right, she's got a nice confident push over there. Good luck to her and to Blessing and to Brandon. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's have a great game. We go alphabetically B before C. So Brandon at Brandywine, give me a category and a number. Let's start the bowl.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, a multiple choice question to start our game. Teams, you've all heard of global warming. It's making the tropics much warmer. Which of the following 3 animals that are poikilothermic are going to be now longer active during the day because there is more sunlight? Sloths, lizards, or parrots? Okay, Brandywine, which of those 3 is poikilothermic and will now be able to be active longer?
Sloths.
Not sloths. Cooper Lane, which one?
Lizards.
Lizards, yeah. Lizards were the only cold-blooded ones in the group. They take their temperature from the surroundings, so if it's hotter outside, the lizards are going to be more active longer. Go green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. In Las Vegas, where it's very dry, landscapers tell homeowners to xeriscape, which means instead of planting grass, you should be planting these plants. All right, what are you going to be planting out there in Las Vegas, Brandywine?
Trees.
Not trees, no. It's so dry out there in Las Vegas, they're xeriscaping. They're giving up grass, but they're planting these.
Cactuses?
Cactuses, absolutely right. Good comeback. Cactus don't need a lot of water, so they, rather than lawns, require far less maintenance. All right, go again. Green, let's turn that light out, please, Wendy. Go, Diana.
Zoo Parade for 20.
Zoo Parade for 20 points. Teams, all members of the genus Canis can interbreed with each other, which means your pet dog could make puppies if it mated with a what? Okay, Cooper Lane. What you think?
Female dogs?
Not female dogs, no. Since all members of the genus Canis can interbreed, it means that your pet dog could make puppies if it mated with a what?
Wolf?
A wolf, absolutely right. Or a dingo or a coyote. They're all dog-like animals. They all can interbreed. All right, 70 to 75, red. Brandon.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points, teams. If this man of cartoon and movie fame lived up to his name, if he got wet, he would rust. Brandywine.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, that's right. But he doesn't do that, does he? He wouldn't be heroic if he did. All right, good. Tie score, 75 all. Go, young men.
Science potpourri for 10 points.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. It's a good thing the police weren't around when Pinocchio was around, because he would have failed what test? Cooper Lane.
Lie detector?
The lie detector test. That's right. His nose kept on growing. That polygraph would have gone all over the map. All right. Green.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, doves are birds that are associated with very peaceful people. But the bird at the opposite end of the behavioral scale is this bird that is associated with making war. Brandywine.
The eagle?
Not the eagle, good try. The opposite of the dove is the peacenik, but the warmonger is what bird that has the opposite temperament?
Pigeon?
No, a hawk. Hawks and doves, warmongers and peaceniks. Green.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, on the television show The Middle, there's a little boy called Brick who doesn't move around much in real life or on the show because he suffers from a skeletal condition known as brittle what disease? No takers. The key word in there was skeletal condition. Brittle bone disease. Bone disease. Go green. Again, don't beat up yourself because there's no penalties for trying. So next time, try if you've got an inkling. Green.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, multiple choice question. The oldest green things in the world, some of which are 5,000 years old, are these kinds of coniferous trees that live high on the California coast. Are they brittle cone pines? Are they Japanese maples? Or are they American chestnuts? Which ones are the oldest green things in the world, Cooper Lane?
American chestnuts?
Not the American chestnuts, no. The American chestnut, the Japanese maple, or the brittle cone pine, Brandywine?
Brittle cone pine?
That's it. Yes, they're all gnarled up and twisted. They've been around longer than most anything else on this planet. Go.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, it is said that you can sometimes see farther than other people if you stand on these deltoid muscled structures of giants. All right, Cooper Lane.
Skyscraper?
No, keep in mind the category, body system. You can see farther than others if you stand on these deltoid muscled structures of giants. Nope. Brian, I think you said it. I saw you mumbling shoulders, shoulders, the shoulders of giants. Go, red.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, Bill and Melinda Gates are probably the richest people in the world, and they are trying to wipe out two diseases, polio, and this one that is carried by the mosquito. Cooper Lane.
Malaria?
Malaria, absolutely right. In the third world, kills so many people. The mosquito is probably the most dangerous animal that ever lived. All right, and with that, that brings us to the end of our first round of questioning. At this juncture, look at almost a tie score. Brandywine 90, Cooper Lane 95. We'll be back with the second part of Science Bowl in just a moment. Don't go away. And nice to have you with us today on Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. 6 outstanding young people here, none of whom have ever been here before, and they're doing a very nice job. We've got more questions for them, but I'm going to let them relax for a moment and ask them some questions I know they know the answers to. Let's find out about them as people. Let's go to Brandywine Elementary School. Brandon, tell us about your school. Who is your principal?
Our principal is Mr. C.
Mr. C. Very good. And the sponsor of your team is Miss Losi, is that right? Yes. And she's out there, and she's going to be joined in a few moments here on set with the 3 alternates who are wearing matching shirts just like you guys are. Who are the 3 alternates, Brandon?
They are Olivia Bell, Jamari Hardy, and Irvin Fontaine.
Wonderful. And if you could just sit up a little bit so we can see your shirt there. They've got, thank you, Brian, for being our model there. And you've got a flask and a test tube and a microscope, the Brandywine Elementary Science Bowl. Those are beautiful shirts. And thank you, Miss Losi, for making those. They really add to the program here. Brandon, tell me what you like best about Brandywine.
Well, it's a really good school, and the tests, they get harder. like each test you take, so it gets you like better prepared for middle school and high school when the tests get really hard.
Boy, that's a really good point you make there, because if everything were easy and the same, you'd never grow. So you need to challenge yourself each time. Boy, that's a great thing, and you guys are more than ready for middle school, I'll tell you that. And Brandywine goes up to the 5th grade, correct? So in 6th grade, you'll be moving on to middle school. Brandon, you're interested in video game design, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think Brian, too, plays video games. What do you do in your spare time, Brandon?
Usually just ride my bike and play video games.
Yeah, just normal kid stuff, right? And I was telling Diana earlier about wearing a helmet. Do you wear a helmet when you ride your bike?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's like wearing goggles in the lab that get uncomfortable, but you know they're necessary. So make sure you do that more often than not. Brian, nice to have you with us. Video game interest? What else do you do in your spare time when you're not playing video games?
Well, I usually play outside, and sometimes I, throw a football with my stepbrother. Yeah. I also play with my baby brother.
Ah, how old is your baby brother?
He's about like a month and a couple of weeks old.
Oh my goodness, so he's very young. He can't watch you on TV yet.
He was born on August 23rd.
Oh my goodness, what's his name?
Julian.
Wonderful, wonderful. He's going to be very proud of you when he gets to that point in his life, and you can show him this on YouTube someday, all right? Nice to have you with us. Malik, nice to have you here. This young man has been getting straight A's throughout his elementary school career, is that right?
Not true, but I've got straight A's a lot of times.
A lot of the times you've gotten straight A's. And that's your goal this year, isn't it?
Yes.
To continue to get straight A's. And what do you want to do someday, Malik?
Probably be a football player or a scientist.
That's great. And you play, what football team do you play for?
Spirit of Faith Warriors.
And that's organized by your church, is that right? All right. Nice to have you with us. Over at Cooper Lane, you're wearing your school's uniform, and you wear that on every day except for dress down day, right?
Yes.
All right. You look good. You look good. You're welcome. Diana, tell us about Cooper Lane. Who's your principal?
Our principal is Miss Wilson, and our school is just very natural, and sometimes we have fun activities. Like now we're trying to have peaceful days without any PS74s, and sometimes if we do good, we get rewards like popcorn and punch, and sometimes a dance.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope you're going to get plenty of rewards for being on Science Bowl, because you're doing a fantastic job and you're good ambassadors for your school, just as these guys are for Brandywine. Who's the sponsor of your team? Now, Mr. Richardson brought you today, did he not?
Yes.
But you have a number of other teachers, Miss Crost and Miss Brooks and Mr. Bear, all of whom helped to make this team a reality. We appreciate their work. Any alternates on your team?
Tristan Blackman.
Yeah, we'll bring Tristan out in just a little bit. And Diana, someday you have to be a fashion designer or a lawyer or a doctor, is that right?
Yes.
It'd be a real nice trick if you could manage all those at the same time. But you're a fashionable young lady already, and I like your spirit. You're playing our game really well. And Blessing, you're welcome. Blessing, nice to have you with us. And I asked her how she became part of the show, and she got a top score on a science test, just like Diana did. And tell me what your goals are someday.
Well, I want to graduate high school as valedictorian and go to medical school. How long? I don't know how long it will be for me to be a surgeon.
Yeah, normally it's like 4 years, yeah, plus internships. And then ultimately you want to do what? Be a
surgeon.
Be a surgeon. That's wonderful. And I like that you want to be the valedictorian. You're like Malik, who wants to get straight A's. I like people who have high goals and dreams. Brandon, nice to have you here. Young man who wants to be an electrical engineer, and I asked him, is he good at math? He said, yes, I am. And those things kind of go together sometimes, science and math. What do you do in your spare time, young man?
I play video games, play with my friends online, go outside, just hang around, take a walk, just think about things.
Yeah.
Look at the earth and stuff,
Yeah, because you told me you were interested in the earth. There's a lot to think about. We're so tiny in the vastness of space. You're trying to think about what it all means, right? Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's get back to our game. Cooper Lane 95, Brandywine 90. Good game going here. Lots of points to give away. Brandon, you gave us last correct answer. Could you start us out again?
Zoo Parade for 25.
Zoo Parade for 25, the big one in that category. That's the way to start our second round. Let's go to the monitor here. We've got a picture with this question. Teams, you're going to see 4 animals in this picture. I will give you 25 points if you can tell me which one, and you can tell me by upper left, lower right, upper right, lower left, which of those 4 belongs to the order primates. Which one is a primate? All right, for 25 big points and the lead, Brandon, which one?
The upper right.
Upper right, you got that right. That's a lemur. Has an opposable thumb just like we do, because we too are primates like all the apes. Good answer, young man. Go.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. We're going to be asking you, it's a multiple choice question. Scientists have recently discovered a gene that causes microcephaly in human beings. Microcephaly. Is microcephaly someone who is born with a small brain, an enlarged heart, or extra digits? Microcephaly, Brandywine.
Extra digits?
Not extra digits, no. Microcephaly, a small brain, an enlarged heart, or extra digits. Yes, ma'am.
Large heart, small brain. Is it large heart, small brain?
Enlarged heart, small brain, extra digits. Yes, please?
Small brain?
Small brain, yes. Micro means small, cephalo means head. We were hoping you would put those two together. Go green.
Let's get physical for 20 points.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, the heliocentric model of the solar system is centered on what celestial body? Cooper Lane?
The Milky Way?
Not the Milky Way. The heliocentric model of the solar system is centered on what celestial body?
The sun?
The sun, yes, sir. Helio means sun, sun-centered, with all the planets going around it. It wasn't always thought to be so. 135 to 110, advantage red.
Body systems for 20.
Body system for 20 points. Teams, a thoracic surgeon operates. We have a future surgeon. Well, Diana?
Ben Carson?
Not Ben Carson. Good try. Let me finish the question for Brandywine. I like your spirit there. Brandywine, a thoracic surgeon who operates, as Blessing will do someday, by opening up the chest. A thoracic surgeon needs a separator to pull apart these bones that create a cage around your heart.
The ribs.
The ribs, yes, a rib separator is what we were going for. Red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, this plant part that is above ground and holds up the leaves and the flowers also has a name that's associated with a controversial kind of cell. What part of the plant are we talking about, Cooper Lane?
The stem?
Stem, that's what I want to hear. Good answer, go. Stem cells, and the stem is the support.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category, teams. Former President Bush, when he visited Afghanistan when he was president, told the president over there, why don't you start growing pomegranates instead of these P-initialed flowers that are the source of the illicit drug heroin? They would be poppies. Poppies. Go, green. Green.
Science potpourri for 25.
Science potpourri for 25 points. Teams, if you've got an iPod, the thought is that we humans, by just living, could generate enough electricity to power them on our own, because we humans produce thermal energy and kinetic energy. For 25 points, tell me what both of those terms mean. Thermal and kinetic energy. We humans are doing it right now. All right, Brandon, two-part answer for 25 points. Thermal and kinetic energy, you're doing it right now. What are they?
Thermal is creating heat, and kinetic is moving.
You got them both for 25 points. Yes, sir. Go.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, another name for a polyethylene bag is this kind of bag that we use every day, and it is, yes, Cooper Lane.
Plastic.
That's what I want to hear. You got it. Go.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, if you take a banana and dip it into the liquefied version of this gas that makes up 4/5 of the air we breathe and take it out, it will be frozen solid, and if you drop it, it'll break like a piece of glass. Name that gas. Brandon.
Hydrogen.
No. Good try. No. What gas that liquefied and we breathe, 4/5 of the air that we breathe is made of this gas, and it can cause something like a banana to freeze solid in its liquid form.
Carbon dioxide?
Nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen is the answer. Go green.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Big one in that category. Teams, if a pregnant woman drinks alcohol, it can affect her baby because the largest organ in that little fetus's body can't break down alcohol. What is the largest organ in the fetus's body and the largest organ in your body? All right, Cooper Lane.
Skin.
Not skin. Skin is the largest outer organ. We're talking about the organ now that can break down the alcohol. Brandywine.
The stomach.
The liver. The liver is what we're looking for. The liver metabolizes alcohol. Again, green. 30 points down. Go.
Dateline science for 25.
That's it. All right. Teams, I'll give you 25 points if you can give me the name of the French scientist who discovered a vaccine for rabies by growing it in sheep's brains. His name is Louis what? Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. Go again, green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Your question is as follows. This N-initialed prefix, which translated means dwarf, today stands for 1/10000000th of a meter. All right, Cooper Lane.
Millimeter?
No, this N-initialed prefix, that if translated means dwarf, today means 1/10000000th of a meter. Nano, like nanometer. Everything is nano today. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas are usually one or the other or the other. You've got water vapor or liquid water or ice. But if you want barbecue taste and you don't want a barbecue, you can buy a bottle of something called liquid what? Liquid smoke. Liquid smoke. That's the gas and the liquid together in the bottle. Try again, green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. A new planet has been discovered in the Libra constellation that is not too hot, not too cold. It's just like Earth. They're giving it the name of this storybook character who lived with 3 bears. Cooper Lane.
Goldilocks.
The Goldilocks planet. That's it. Good. Thank you, Brandon. Go green.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points, teams. It is said that a spoonful of this, whether it's sucrose or fructose, will make the medicine go down. Brandywine.
Sugar.
Sugar, that's it. Good, go.
Zuprate for 5.
Zuprate for 5 points, teams. Ducks and frogs and otters are very well suited to sites on the internet because they all have feet that are what? Cooper Lane.
Webbed feet.
Webbed feet. They all have their websites. Good, go.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points, teams. The term for a sprout or shoot of grass or asparagus is the same as Brittany's last name. Cooper Lane.
Spears.
Spears, a spear of asparagus. Yeah, good, go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, if you are blind, you are hard of seeing. If you are deaf, you are hard of hearing. And if you are anosmia, you are hard of what? Smelling is right, yes. Which one next?
Science potpourri for 5.
Science potpourri for 5 points, teams. The characters on Jersey Shore, the reality show, spend far too much time in booths getting UVA and UVB rays in order to turn what color?
Tan.
Tan is right. We have one question left. This is it. Their score 190 to 185. Cooper Lane, you get this. We have a tie score. Brandywine, you get it. You win the game. Let's turn that light out, Wendy. Wendy, turn the light out, please. Our final question is from Dateline for 5 points. It's a visual question. Look at the monitor. Your question, teams, this giant fish never really gets that big, but because of genetic modification, people are now afraid that this fish we like to eat that swims upstream to spawn could someday look like that. Brandywine. No, not trout. Cooper Lane, this fish that swims upstream to spawn has now been genetically modified, and now we are afraid it will look like that someday.
Tuna?
The answer was salmon. Salmon. With that, Brandywine by a whisker. You will win this game. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Ball. Oh, it came down to that final question. I don't think Cooper Lane will ever eat salmon again and not think about this question. What a great game we had today. Congratulations. Our final tally is Brandywine 190 and Cooper Lane 185. Let's see some smiles over there. You came back. You came as close as you could. Blessing of Diana and Brandon. And back there is our alternate with Mr. Richardson, Tristan. I know you're proud of this team. And Mr. Richardson, thank you for being part of our game and hope to see you again here on, with Cooper Lane one more time. Brandywine, Smiles here, please. Brian, you haven't smiled all day. Brian and Brandon and Malik and back there. Look at the shadow team. We've got Jamari, Olivia and Irvin and Miss Losi. I know you're proud of this team. I know you're sweating it out there at that last question. Thank you for being part of our game. I hope to see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye now.